Okay, come on, you shut up. You have to take it. Right, go ahead.
Hot diggity dog. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Aggravating.
You can't technologically challenge folks that on that end, don't you?
Let's talk to you, right?
I believe I am.
Let's roll.
Good afternoon. I'm calling the April 7th, 2026 meeting of the Amherst County Board of Supervisors to order. The time is 3 p.m. Board, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Agenda is approved. If you would, please rise and join me in the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Adams. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, Lord, we come before you as your humble servants. Lord, we just ask you to bless our county and bless our citizens. Father, we just ask you to give us wisdom to make the right decisions that are in the best interest of all people. And we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're moving on to citizen comment. Is there anyone signed up? If there's anyone that'd like to address the board, please come forward, state your name and district, and you'll have 3 minutes right here, please, sir.
My name's Ronnie Staten. I live down at Cedar Crest Drive. I don't know if y'all know where that is. Not right before you get to McDonald's on 29. This has to do with the real estate thing, and I'll just kind of be short as I can. The reason I'm here, we have a little different situation down there on this. When those places were built, they didn't get the right permits to put the water lines in. And by that, any water leaks down there, we have to take care of it ourselves. We have to, we pay one water bill to the water company. You know what I'm saying? And up until now, I've been down there 26 years, and up till now, this has been the biggest increase, 55% since I've been there. And all of us just feel like they're not really opposed. I don't think anybody's opposed to a tax increase if you get something for it. Like I say, we have to take care of the water leaks. It's been, since I've been down there, we've paid $15,000 in water leaks. That's on us. That would be if they'd gotten the right permits. David Cooper was the one that built them places down there. I was just wondering, how do you build a place like that without getting the right permits and just keep on building? I mean, it's 42 units down there. And when Dan French was at the Service Authority, I went up there and talked to him, and he explained just what I just told you. He said they did not get the right permits, and he said, we're not going to take over anything past the main water line that comes down our road. Anything past that in the lot or whatever. So I'm just saying, if you're going to raise us, make them take us over. They can take care of the water leaks or leave it exactly like it is, and we'll take care of it like we've been doing. So I'm just saying, what's fair is fair. So, what I'm saying, I'm not totally against a tax increase if you can see what you're getting. So that's mainly all I have to say, and I appreciate you letting me talk.
Sir. Mr. Bryant, can you reach out to Mr. Castillo and look into that issue, please? Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Yes, sir. If you'd come forward, state your name. 3 minutes.
Do you want to know the district I live in as well?
If you'd like to provide it, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mark Labadie. I live in Claudia Tucker's district. I'm here today. I'm going to try and be brief. What we have is a psychopath in the White House, who's hell-bent on destroying and destructing. And I believe that he wants to do it in excess of his buddy, Bibi Netanyahu. We need to stop this. But what we're dealing with is a lack of compassion, a lack of empathy, and maybe greed associated with the war machine and the MIC, et cetera. I believe that this correlates to the county as well in terms of our taxation situation. We have, Donald Trump is creating an unbelievable amount of nervous energy and uncertainty, let alone the absolute ecological disasters, and we have yet to witness how drastic the economic turmoil is going to be. On that note, I believe that I listened to a man speak here on YouTube at your last meeting, and he spoke about a history of the tax rate. 39 cents would be net neutral, and then he adjusted it up to 49 cents. And I believe that we should look at a 50-cent tax rate per 100 here, and we have employees here that are I don't have any objection to them having a way of making a living. But, we have many people in Amherst County with 6-digit incomes that work for the county. And there's also a lot of problems associated with them thinking that they're just entitled to the taxpayers pay their health insurance. We mandate that we get an absolute raise every year. We don't get that. I don't get that. I get 3% or 2.8% on my Social Security, which I get 10 grand, 11, 12 grand a year. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about, what we get and what you get. I believe it's time for y'all to tighten the budget up, tighten the belts up, and have no expansion of anything and leave it as is, net neutral, 50 cents per 100.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Okay, we will move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Bryant, I believe you have some comments on the minutes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Campbell gets credit for this. He found 2 errors in the minutes. The first is on the March 25th budget workshop. It said that Mr. Campbell was absent. We need to move him to absent. It says that he voted no. He actually came in at 4:05 at that meeting. So clerical error there. Ms. Freeman has already corrected that, and we'll have that for you. The second is on the March 25th meeting at 7 p.m. We needed to correct Mr. Adams' name. It actually was typed in as Ayers. I think Ayers was on this one's mind, and I missed it too. So it was Adams that made that motion, and item number 2. So both easy fixes, but I wanted to make you aware of that.
Gentlemen, are you okay with adopting the minutes as corrected?
Sure.
Or do you need to see them again?
No, I'm good.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to accept.
Motion on the floor by Ms. Tucker. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Moving on to new business, the Emergency Operations Plan, Chief Bean.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Board. Thanks for letting me be here today. Every 4 years, we have to re-adopt or update our emergency operation plan. That's kind of our roadmap of how we handle emergencies throughout the county. Normally, it's very routine, just routine updates that we do each year. But I really want to give a lot of credit, Deputy Chief Scott, and he had Chief Sandy help him, really spent quite literally probably 100 hours on it this year. Went out, reached out to subject matter experts. We know fire and EMS pretty well, but subject matter experts like the Red Cross, social services, those type people, and really did a deep dive, making sure they all reviewed their particular sections for the year and revised those. A couple things I'll bring your attention to. Mr. Campbell and I were having a conversation earlier. Typically throughout the plan, we have names and phone number or names associated. For example, for emergency coordinator, it might say my name beside it. Well, if you all decide that you get tired of me tomorrow, 4 years is a long time to live with that inside that document. So we've moved all that to an appendix this year. So the title is throughout the document with the names at the end in a specific appendix. Those are some of the big changes. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. Again, this is by law and required that we update it every 4 years.
Okay. Board, is there any questions for Chief Bean? I did read it, and it was done very well, so thank you guys for that. Are we looking for a motion today?
Yes, so there's a specific verbiage that the state would like to see that would actually be attached to this document as a living document, and that should be found within your packet.
Gotcha. This isn't a public hearing, though, is it?
No, sir.
Gotcha. Okay. Board?
Mr. Chair, as you did, I read through this thing last night. I actually questioned Chief Bean about any significant changes, and really the only thing that was changes was the names in the appendix that he just referred to. So with that being said, I move that the Board of Supervisors adopt the revised EOP as presented and authorize the Director of Emergency Management or his or her designee to maintain and revise it as necessary during the next 4 years or until otherwise before the board again for review and adoption. That's a motion.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, Board. Appreciate it.
Before we move on, just to make a note for the minutes that Mr. Pugh was unable to be with us today. Thank you. All right, moving on. Request for a letter opposing House Bill 891 and Senate Bill 443. Mr. Creasy.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, Board. Good to see you all today. This request comes before you from your Planning Commission, seeking for you all to send a letter to the office of the governor requesting the veto of House Bill 891 and Senate Bill 443. I'll try to summarize this fairly quickly. As written, these bills would allow battery energy storage systems to be permitted as an accessory use on parcels previously approved for utility-scale solar developments without additional local land use review, public input, or required siting agreement. It is also important to note that the legislation would also result in battery energy storage systems being by right use on any parcel that the county should approve in the future. So there are really 4 main bullet points that you can see in your item summary that staff brought this to the commission that they felt that we should send this letter to the office of the governor. 1, it reduces local oversight of these installations. 2, it increases demands on local staff and emergency services to address environmental, fire, and safety considerations. 3, it eliminates siting agreements that can help mitigate the previous issues and concerns that I just listed. And the last, and probably the most important, it removes the opportunities for adjacent property owners and residents to participate in the review process. Staff, there is a memo drafted by staff regarding the Planning Commission's consideration to you all, as well as a letter that is provided before you today that is pretty much a sample letter that a bunch of other local jurisdictions has developed and sent off to the officer of the governor. There is a recommended motion, and that can be found before you as well. Do you have any questions for staff?
Board? Any questions for Mr. Creasy?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is your pleasure?
If there's not a motion, I would like to make one because I believe in this very strongly, that localities should be able to have the right to control their destiny. So I'll make a motion that the board directs staff to draft and submit a letter to the office of the governor requesting the veto of HB 891 and Senate Bill 443.
Okay, I agree with Ms. Tucker. I do not believe the state should erode local authority, especially with land use controls. Is there any discussion further on Ms. Tucker's motion?
The only thing I would say, Mr. Chairman, is that the deadline for action from the governor is coming up midnight April the 13th, so this needs to be done quickly.
Understood. All right. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on. The VDOT Rural Rustic 6-year road plan, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Chairman Martin. I guess you all have received advanced copies of the draft of the 6-year plan, proposed 6-year plan for FY 27 through 32. And this plan is very simple. It hasn't anything changed from last year. I want to make a couple clarifications. A couple of your projects that are priority 1 and priority 2, Kentmore Farm Road and Walnut Springs Road, those roads have been, construction has been completed. We still carry them in this plan because we're waiting financial closure. They have to stay into it. This is basically our secondary road. This is our financial plan, so they stay in here until they're closed out financially, which should happen soon. So really, when you get right down to what are we currently working on, you see priority 3 listed as 2.03 is West Monitor. That road is under construction as we speak. That should be completed. That should be completed by June, and that was funded with previous monies. The next priority, priority 4, is Getty's Mountain. If you see in there, we were able to put some money on that project last year, but the bulk of that money, construction money, $343,000, will be in effect July 1, and it is our hope. We're going to try our very best to get this road built this year. It just depends on when that money is applied from down in Richmond to this account. So we have to have financial authorization for construction. If we get that by August, we can build this road this year. So that is what we want to do. Then the next road, priority 5 is Indian Creek. Priority 6, Moss Rock. Priority 7, Bucks Hollow. Priority 8, Loblolly Lane. Priority 9, Ned Brown Road. Priority 10, Waz Ferry. Priority 11, Early Farm Road. Priority 12, Long Branch Drive. And the last road in the 6-year plan is 612 Summer Hill Road. And that takes us out to the final year, FY 32. We did have a small balance left in fiscal year 32, but not really enough to start another project. That is the priority, and we did not add any projects this year. There was really no room. We had to update our cost. It's costing a little more to build roads than it used to. We had to up our, but hopefully we'll have some balances that we can move down to the next project, and maybe we can accelerate a few if we have some monies left over. But that is the proposed 6-year secondary road plan for Amherst County. And be glad to answer any questions on this right here before we move on to the other list that you have.
Forward.
I got one question, because I've got folks that are watching us on YouTube now that live at the very end up on the mountain on Indian Creek Road. So I know it's the next one, but if you had to look in your crystal ball, when do you think that they would see activity on that road?
On Indian Creek,
Yes, sir.
that road is funded in FY 28. I would say we should be able to, that money will be in place July 1, 2027. Again, if construction is authorized, we should be able to build that road late next year.
after July 1 of next year is when we would be looking to start construction.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? So, Mr. Brown, just for clarification, the next road that will be constructed or improved is Getty's Mountain Road.
Yes, yes, sir.
That will happen this calendar year, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Calendar year. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, anything else? All right, Mr. Brown, what is the other list you need to?
This list right here, and we talked about this, this is a list of roads that your constituent has asked to be put on this unpaved road priority list. The last one that was requested was Tootsie Floyd Road, Route 620. This is pretty much the same list that you approved last year. You prioritized 6 projects, and this is good for this year, unless you want to change the priority of any of these 6 right here. We can go with this again this year, because usually the board has prioritized these projects or proposed projects kind of on first come, first served. You know. So you really don't need to do anything with this unless you want to change the priority on this list. And we did not receive, I was talking to Jeremy earlier, we have not received any recent request to go on this list right here. Since, well, Tootsie Floyd was added May 7th of '25.
So, Mr. Brown, we've got this list.
That is the 6-year plan.
That's the 6-year plan. This list feeds into this?
This list, when I need a project, or when VDOT needs a project, we pull the first one on the top of this list because that's the board's priority. That's how you all have, talk to your constituents, you add the projects, and this gives us something to go by, so we can incorporate the board's wishes into the 6-year plan.
All right, so this list feeds into the 6-year plan?
This list feeds the 6-year
I
plan.
got you.
Yes, sir.
So, is it Victoria Drive? I know it's different, but
Because Victoria Drive's a private drive, these are all
I
public.
got you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So that would be the sports scale. Gotcha. All right, board, is there any questions or additions to that list?
So, Mr. Brown, on the subsequent
Yes,
list
sir.
right here. So, and my question was the last time, and I remember having to stop, but I never did even, I don't think I even addressed it the last time you were here about the 6-year plan. But I was just reviewing this on Google Maps, and I don't know if you can recall any history behind how this got on here, but number 5, the Beverly Town Road, because I was trying to figure what in the world more could be done to Beverly Town, because I just rode up there and rode all the way to National Forest, where it's been service treated all the way up to the National Forest line, going, well, toward the National Forest. But looking at this, I'm assuming the section that they're talking about is between Beverly Town Road, well, right there where Love Lady Creek comes into Beverly Town, back over to Pura Road.
Yes.
And I wondered how that made it, because unless something has changed, I don't even know if there's any residential structures on that,
Well-
in that section of the road.
Now, before this project, if this stays the same, it has a traffic count of 28 vehicles per day. We will have to do something with this before it goes into the 6-year plan, because to be eligible for unpaved road grant money, it has to have 50 vehicles per day on it. So usually what I do, when someone asks for a road, it's on this list, and it does not have a 50 vehicle count per day, I get a special traffic count done
Okay.
prior to it being anticipated going into the 6-year plan. Because if it doesn't have 50 vehicles per day, I cannot fund it with the unpaved road money.
So, and I'm just throwing out some hypotheticals. Because if I take Kersey Road, which I brought up at the last time you were here last year, and we're starting to see more and more residential growth on that section of road, and that stretch from Buffalo Springs Turnpike to Puppy Creek Road. What's our process, or do we have a process if we wanted to reprioritize and just say bump Kersey up in place of Beverly Town Road?
That is your choice.
Okay, that's all I
That
need
is
to know.
your choice. You all set this priority,
Okay,
so that would certainly could be done.
thank you, sir.
If the board want to do that.
Okay, so board, what we need now is a motion to direct staff to schedule a public hearing for this on May the 19th. And if there's no discussion, I will move that the board direct staff to schedule the public hearing on May 19th, 2026.
So, Mr. Chair, just for clarification, is that the point where at
That's
the
where
podium
you-
we can make the necessary changes if
I would
wishes
believe,
to do so?
yes. Mhm.
Okay, all right.
All right, is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Chairman, can I ask Mr. Brown a question before he leaves?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I know I'm always bringing this up, but the end of Indian Creek and also going on to Poorhouse Farm Road off of 778, we still are having tractor trailers try to go up that road. They get jackknifed, they bumped our new bridge there on 778. What do we do? What can we do?
Shoot them. I don't know what to do. That road is restricted. I mean, we can look at this signage, I mean, but that road is restricted to through trucks. I don't know if we have the, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Robert, we like your style, buddy. We
Well-
like your style.
Only thing might help us, Ms. Tucker, is a lot of times when we put up the international no truck symbol, sometimes some of the truckers understand that better than a written sign. So if that's something, we can look at, we can
A
get
milk,
that done.
did you say a milk truck signal? Milk truck
Yeah,
sign?
no truck symbol.
No truck.
No
No
truck.
truck.
Oh, no truck.
No truck, like it's got a picture of a tractor and trailer with a big circle with a hash mark through it.
That's okay.
That conveys a better message sometimes because some folks might not understand the English on the signs.
We've lost total control of this meeting.
No, we have not, but the ice cream truck will be here later, Ms. Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank y'all. I'll check into
I'll
that.
remember your
I'll
suggestion.
check into
Ms.
that.
Tucker, thank you for bringing it up, because Robert, I was gonna give you a call. We've engaged the sheriff's office with this, but Buffalo Springs Turnpike, I am getting just hammered with complaints on Buffalo Springs Turnpike. We have got an excessive amount. In the last 60 days, something has transpired between 130 and Route 60. We got an excessive amount of 53-foot traffic on Buffalo Springs Turnpike, with numerous close calls really between Slap Creek Road and Route 60 in those tight curves. So I don't know if something has transpired with GPS settings. We know that they have increased their enforcement on Route 60 going over the mountain and coming back this way. But, there's some people have all type of conspiracy theories as far as why they're doing this, but it's not one way. I mean, they're coming north and south on Buffalo Springs Turnpike.
What we figured out, and I talked to Sheriff Ayers about this, evidently they are thinking that the enforcement is coming closer to the traffic circle in Amherst, so they are coming east on 60 and then cutting over to 130. Does that make sense?
Well, it would, but that wouldn't explain the traffic coming from 130 toward Route 60.
No, it would.
So, and that's the thing. I mean, it would be easier for me to explain, but if I'm sitting at the house, where we used to get a random one maybe once or twice a month, now it's not uncommon for us to get one or two a day.
I have,
And I don't know if we have any mechanisms to be able to determine that, Mr. Brown, but I just wanted to
thank
get
you.
your thought process on that.
I have had a conversation with our traffic engineers. They are looking at it somewhat, but
Okay.
I don't know what we're gonna come up with. But I'll follow up on
Okay.
that. I'll follow up on that.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Brown? Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank y'all.
All right, we will move on to Resolution 2026-4R opioid settlement. Mr. Popovich.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. They have reached an additional settlement agreement with 6 regional distributors that we are affectionately referring to as the remnant defendants in these various lawsuits. They have agreed to a lump sum payment in a total amount of a little over $97.5 million, which will result in a one-time payment to all litigating localities. So in order to effectuate agreement of the settlement agreement, we would need an adoption of this resolution.
Okay. Board, any questions for Mr. Popovich? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll move the board adopt resolution 2026-4-R as presented.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Did you vote aye?
Oh, excuse me, aye.
4 ayes. All right. Moving on, Resolution 2026-5-R collective bargaining. Mr. Popovich.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a request made of Amherst County by the Virginia Association of Counties Board of Directors. There is currently legislation pending on the governor's desk that would essentially mandate collective bargaining at the local government level. As it stands right now, the Code of Virginia permits it with approval of the local government, but the new legislation would effectively take the local government right to determine whether or not collective bargaining is appropriate for them out of the equation and just mandate it. So therefore, they are asking that all localities submit a letter in opposition to the proposed legislation due to the potential for increased costs, staffing, all of the typical mandates that would happen coming down the pike. And obviously, if you watch the news in some of the other states throughout the country, when there is collective bargaining, you have situations where you've got trash truck drivers on strike and trash builds up on the sidewalks. You've got public safety folks that unionize and decide they want collective bargaining. It puts a significant strain on the local government.
Understood. Board, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the board adopt resolution 2026-5-R.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Ms. Tucker. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I vote aye. Is that an aye, Mr.?
Aye, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, we will move on to Resolution 2026-6R, Building Safety Month. Mr. Nate Young.
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chair. May is Building Safety Month. This year's theme is Built to Last, reminds us that safe buildings and strong communities do not happen by accident. They result from sound codes, careful plan review, inspections, maintenance, and cooperation among property owners, builders, design professionals, contractors, and local government. Building safety protects lives, property, and the daily function of homes, businesses, schools, public buildings. It supports public confidence, responsible growth, long-term community stability. It also helps ensure the places where people live, work, learn, gather, and remain safe and dependable. Building safety is not just about permits and inspections. It's a core public service that helps protect people and supports development, preserves neighborhood quality, and strengthens community resilience. Building Safety Month is also a chance to recognize professionals who keep our community safe every day. Plan reviewers, fire and emergency personnel, contractors and tradespeople, architects, engineers, and property owners who invest in safe, code-compliant buildings and structures. Members of the board, building safety helps keep Amherst County built to last Recognizing Building Safety Month highlights the importance of modern codes, trained professionals, and strong local partnerships that protect the public every day. I request that you recognize May 2026 as Building Safety Month in Amherst County.
Thank you, sir. Board, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
move that we adopt resolution number 2026-6-R.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor by Mr. Campbell. We greatly appreciate the work that you and others do in the county to make sure our buildings are constructed per the code and done safely. And we also appreciate the responses you do when stuff goes wrong. So with that, is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to greening of Amherst County Public Libraries, Mr. Rob Campbell.
Good afternoon, Board.
Hello,
Thank you
Mr.
all for
Campbell.
having me up here today. Yeah, if you don't mind. I'm gonna get a couple things pulled up here. Yeah, we'll start with Madison Heights is fine. Yeah, that works. Thanks, Chris. All right, thank you all for having me here today. Rob Cable, of course, here as an Amherst County resident, but of course representing the James River Association as well. We have been in partnership with the Amherst County and as well as the public libraries to come up with a concept plan for both the Madison Heights and Amherst libraries that is taking into effect or taking into account the flow of water off of the properties, as well as with some ideas of aspects of beautification to each one of the properties and ways that we can kind of mesh those two things together. Turning the outdoor space of our public places into kind of a de facto classroom for people to kind of understand how water is making its way down to the James River. So we've been in partnership with the county, of course, and the libraries to complete a series of community meetings where we met with folks from Madison Heights communities as well as the County of Amherst, or Amherst Public Library, and we came up with several plans or several ideas to help beautify the property as well as help with the flow of water. So first we're looking at here is the Madison Heights Library. As you can see, this is just an overhead view. We have been in talks with Hughes Property Management about using part of this land to do some of these projects. We're still in talks with them, but everything has been positive so far. But as you can see, we just did an overall look at the property, what was existing there, where were the downspouts, where the drainages were going, and how many trees were on the property, and things like that. So this was the initial plan that we came up with from our meeting, or the initial comments that we came from our meeting. I know the writing's really small on this, so it's kind of hard to see. Things were identified as, some of the garden, or a potential for gardens along that walkway from the parkway to the parking lot to the building itself, as well as around some of the outer exterior portions of the building where you do have some good windows looking outside from the indoor corridor space as well. So let's see if we can click over, or maybe just scroll down for me. I think it's below this, I believe. Yep, keep going, yep. So this, after working with Four Winds Design, the landscaping architect out of Richmond, of course, our staff and county staff and the public comment, this is a concept plan that was created for the Madison outdoor area of the Madison Heights Library. As you can see, all those green circle things, that's just more trees, adding more tree space and tree cover to that open area. Trees, of course, provide great places for people to convene outside, to enjoy that space, as well as, of course, cooling the area down in the middle of the yard. I will go ahead and say that during some of our planning phases, we, of course, were speaking with county staff about maintenance. So a lot of our plan here is really incorporating low impact or low maintenance procedures so that we can achieve a lot of bang for our buck without having county staff having to do really much out of the difference or out of the ordinary of what they would have already done in these spaces. So again, some pollinator gardens along the walkways in, some more benches and picnic tables underneath, the trees in the center, outdoor reading space towards the edge of the library there in the front right corner, incorporating some pollinator gardens, and of course, all the way at the far left, which is where all of the water does drain off the property, would be a rain garden to allow that water to slow down, have a chance to kind of pond up before it just starts running off and kind of adding to some other problems that are a little bit downslope from there. So just a way to gather that water from that area. And those, of course, would be rain gardens and low maintenance swales that are basically able to be mowed over with a lawnmower, but would just do that effect of holding that water into place to let it gradually move down. And you can see some of the plant species that we plan on using, all Virginia natives, all very hardy to this area, do a lot better job of absorbing that water, taking it in, and allowing the soil structure to cooperate and helping keep those invasive species out and keeping critters in. So this is the Madison Heights Library. While we're here, does the board have any potential questions about some of the aspects that you may see in the plan?
I do.
Okay.
On the Amherst County, the one up here on Main Street.
Okay.
Since that's within the town limits, how does that work? Is that our building and our land, or is that how it works, Mr. Bryant?
It is our property, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that was a comment. My second comment is that when I was reading about this, I was just thrilled. One, because the partnership between us, the libraries, and James River Association, it's just a wonderful thing, and thank you. And it's doubly pleasing to me because you are in my district, you're a long-term Amherst family, and thank you for everything that you're doing for our county.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate y'all's willingness to really partner with us through the years. It's always been a really good thing for a lot of the residents of Amherst County, in particular our students of Amherst County, which we actually just got the whole middle school group that we take out each spring, the 7th graders from Amherst and Mount Ellison, all just came out a week or so ago with us and had a good time on the river. So working out well. But we did, if you would like a quick peek, again, same kind of thing with this, and Nate, if you want to just go ahead and scroll down. These were some of the things that were identified here, and I'll go ahead and show that. One thing that did pop out that was a little bit different and out of the scope of what we did at the Madison Heights Library is that there was a call for potentially more parking at the library. It wasn't necessarily something that is always needed, but there are certain times where more parking would be helpful. As well as a one-way lane to do a book drop-off, which is actually already part of the library's plan and has already been installed to at least have the book drop-off, but to designate that as a one-way lane for that book drop-off. And it would be allow some more swales to be put in that area, more of those mowable swales that can gather water. And along the Sunset Road there, or Sunset Drive, we would have, there's a large ditch there, and so there's been within the plan, I think you can kind of see on the top left image, a series of very small, low head kind of check dams, if you will, that will slow that water and allow it to kind of pool up in those areas before just running right down into our stormwater system and inevitably into Rutledge Creek that rolls into the Buffalo, then to the Ty, and then down into the James, of course. So again, same plans with the plantings, more trees, trying to beautify the area, making it all just a little bit more pretty than it already is. The Amherst County Library is so beautiful on its own, but just adding in those aspects. One thing that would be different or is proposed in the plan, and potentially budget-wise may be part of the first thing that may not be able to make it, is the permeable pavers that are proposed for the parking lot. It would be that brick-ish idea there. There's lots of different choices that could be there, but the landscape architects seem to think that brick would kind of match the library pretty well, and it does act, of course, as that permeable paver, allowing that water to soak into the parking lot. But I guess worth mentioning, this has all been a part of a grant process through the Chesapeake Bay Trust, this whole first 6 months planning process. We've applied for the second round of grant funding, which will bring all of these plans to actual construction-worthy documents, and we'll work on permitting through you all and in the town to get all this squared away. And then phase 3 would be, again, through Chesapeake Bay Trust, would be funding for the actual funding to do the project. So at this point, this is no money asked from the county, just being good faith actors and trying to do good work at public spaces would potentially get all this stuff done. So
I will say, sir, thank you so much for working on this. Landscaping, stormwater management, bioretention, all great things for the county. Just creating better public spaces is the way to go. This may be for you, or it may be for Mr. Eder, I'm so sorry. So I received this. from, I believe he is on your library board? Okay. I'll just, so
Spoken to him too.
I don't believe that a tree is going to cause
Sure.
a criminal to hide.
Right.
I would ask that when you move forward with construction, you kind of look at where the security cameras are and this and that. And my only other comment was that, and it sounds like you've already worked with county staff on maintenance and that kind of stuff moving forward. But I believe this is an extremely beneficial project to the county. I commend you for moving forward with grant funding. And, yeah, you guys are just awesome. So thank you so much for that.
We appreciate that.
Board, any other comments?
The only thing I'd like to say is, moving forward, I think it's a great idea. I think the greenery looks great. There's just no large trees or too close to the buildings, because when we did River Edge Park, my suggestion would not to be put a big sycamore tree next to the building, because they get extremely large. And now we have a large tree there at the building.
Sure do, yep.
That we need to probably look at doing something too in the future.
That's, they do like the wet feet, and that's by the river, so it'll only get bigger. But, that's something we can, as you were saying, we can plan ahead in the future. Of course, with the cameras thing as well, we can work on positioning of trees. But that's right, just putting a little more forethought into things before putting them in the ground.
I mean, when they're this big around, when you set them in the ground, you think, hey, they look cute. They
Sure.
do until they're like 3-4 feet in diameter.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, and that's where we'll have to lean on ourselves, our own knowledge, and then our landscape architects to say, hey, keep that kind of stuff away from the building. And a lot of stuff that has been proposed for close to the fronts of the buildings are lower story trees, the ones that don't ever get the dogwoods and the red buds of the world that don't ever get that big. But in the middle of the field, those were proposed to be some larger species of trees, oaks and things of the nature. So, but yes, planning and doing a little bit of that can go a whole long way, and we're willing to meet everybody at the table again. The planning process is not over, so comments that you all might have that you get from your folks from your district, or just that you have from yourself, please take these plans and mull over them, and that period is definitely still open. So, yep, still taking comments, but we appreciate y'all.
Right tree, right place, but what a transformational project this
Yeah,
was.
I think it could be. Yeah,
So
really do.
thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. Appreciate your
Moving
time.
on to the county administrator's report, board, commission, committees, planning commission, District 4 vacancy. Mr. Bryan.
Yes, sir. We have an opening in District 4 in the Planning Commission. Staff's advertised it numerous times. We have no one that has shown any interest that lives in District 4. However, that being said, we have two gentlemen that have applied for this seat that live in District 3. You may recall, we did interview Mr. Bill Wise previously for a seat, and Mr. William Hughes. They're both here today. Mr. William Hughes is also interested, but again, I'll say it one more time, they both live in District 3. Our Planning Commission rules allow you to put someone in if no one applies for it, so you have the right and authority to do that. We have interview questions in front of you that you could ask if you would like to ask Mr. William Hughes. Again, you've already interviewed Mr. Bill Wise. So, board, it's your pleasure on how you would like to move forward.
Board, this is Mr. Pugh's district, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you spoken to Mr. Pugh about it?
Yes, sir. I spoke with Mr. Pugh about it. He had worked to try to find someone to fill his district. He was unsuccessful, and he was okay with you as the board proceeding with making a decision on how to go forward.
Mr. Adams, you're the liaison to the planning commission. Do you have any thoughts? Would you like to interview the other candidate, or how would you guys like to move forward?
Well, I think in all fairness, and again, just for the sake of consistency, as we've kind of been promoting within ourselves for the last 18 months for these boards and commissions, it's always exciting to have multiple people that are interested, even though it may not be for this specific district that's needed for them. But I think we should still do our due diligence. Mr. Wise, we've had the opportunity to interview him in open session, and I think we need to offer that same, we need to extend that same option to Mr. Hughes as well. So
Fair enough.
that's my opinion on that.
Board, everybody?
I concur.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
These are the same questions that we used with, okay.
Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Wise, we'll ask you to leave the room if you don't mind. And Mr. Hughes, we'll ask you to come forward. So, Mr. Hughes, thank you for your interest in the Planning Commission. We'll just go down the list, ask you some questions, just ask you to give us your honest feedback response, and we'll go from there, okay?
Yes, sir.
So our first question is, please tell us about yourself. What experience or background would you bring to the Planning Commission?
Well, I've been in Amherst County since 2020. Me and my wife, we've been married 32 years. We've got 16 children. They're not all biological, they're foster children as well. But I believe that I would bring a lot to the county because I was a contractor at one time. I'm an RLD, and I've worked with design and build throughout the industry for a good little while. And I worked for Columbia Gas for 24 years. Now I work for WRA Engineering Firm, which I'm a senior inspector. And we do water, sewer, and all kinds of designs. And I think I would be a valuable candidate for the Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Mr. Hughes, and you've kind of touched on some of this up to this point, but anything else you want to elaborate on? What experience would you bring that would demonstrate an understanding of the potential impacts, both positive or negative, of land development? For example, environmental aesthetics, economics, community services, transportation, stormwater drainage, parking, et cetera.
Well, one thing I'd like to see is we bring industry into the county to offset the taxes. That's one thing. We need hotels, and we also need sit-down restaurants. That's a plus. That's a positive to the county. And also more housing communities. Now, the negative side of that is we're probably going to have to build out the infrastructure because the infrastructure in some of the areas are not going to be able to handle it. And then also the roadways. They're not going to be able to handle it as far as turn signals and traffic lights and everything else. So we're also going to have to look at, ADA ramps, for sidewalks and stuff like that, going in front of the businesses and this, that, and the other. And I think the Planning Commission would be a good place to start to be able to bring that to the board.
Thank you, sir.
If I could follow up on that, Mr. Hughes. So I understand you say bring industry, restaurants, that type of thing. I think you mentioned housing.
Yes.
But what do you think drives those things?
Well, money's got to start with somewhere. The people have to want it in order to bring industry here. And if we can get industry here, we can bring people, which would offset our tax base.
So you believe you believe the industry will drive the people?
If we bring the industry for work, I believe we can get the people here to be able to sustain their lives and live in the county without any issues. And then it offset our tax base.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell?
Mr. Hughes, have you ever served on other citizens advisory groups before? If so, please describe.
Yes, sir, I did. I was appointed to the zoning commission, the appeals board of Campbell County by Eric Zier. And I served on there for 3 years. And we had like 2 issues, and that's all we had to deal with.
Thank you.
All right, sir, thank you for being here. Are you comfortable in a committee setting dealing with technical as well as at times difficult and contentious community issues?
Yes, I am. I think we need to look at the big picture of everything and be able to bring it all together to be able to make a good judgment call. And in order to do that, we have to all work together as a team.
Thank you.
Mr. Hughes, are you able to see both sides of a proposal before making judgment on its merits? And could you give an example of your experience with this process?
Yes, sir. I worked with land agents throughout Columbia Gas. I worked there for 24 years. And we had to do a whole lot of working with different people. And we had a pumping station that was getting ready to go in a man's backyard. And the individual had a plan that we didn't know about. Well, he brought that forward, and we sat down and had a dialogue, and we talked. And we figured out that not only was it going to be a bad position for us, as well as it was for him, but we moved the station approximately 500 feet down the right of way. And it ended up making a better deal for everybody because we had better access, and it also left it up to him to be able to do what he needed to do in his backyard, and everybody was happy about it. So it's a win-win for everybody.
What do you perceive the role and responsibility of the planning commission to be?
Well, I'm here to help, to be able to bring ideas to the planning commission and to be able to give my advice and then for them to bring it to the board and to be more or less to help everybody in the community and speak up.
Finally, Mr. Hughes, what motivated you to apply for the Planning Commission, and what do you hope to accomplish by your participation?
I'm just here to help. Just past winter, we had a individual in a neighborhood that was not on the VDOT road. They gave me a call because I still have all my equipment from the company that I had, and they had full of ice. There were some elderly people that lived on the road that had to get the cancer treatments. So me and my son-in-law took our machine up, and we cleared the entire road to be able to get them in and out. And I want to do everything I can do in this county to help, because it's us that actually build this county, the ones that care. And I feel like I need to do my part. And I'm a firefighter right now with the help of a lot of people. And I've learned a lot about the people in this county. There's some big hearts here, and I would like to keep it that way.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Martin, could I add a question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I know that you're very interested in bringing development and the importance of development to try to get the tax rate down, and I applaud that. What is your position on the right to farm versus industry and residential growth?
I think farming is great. We need a
Right.
lot of that. We need a lot of farming.
How do you balance the two between growth and keeping our ag lands open?
Well, I would say it's probably 50-50 because we still need to bring industry in. We've got to do something to offset the county. And whatever the thoughts are with the planning commission, that's something everybody needs to talk about and to be able to come to a better agenda.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we have for you right now, Mr. Hughes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, board, we have two candidates for one open seat. Both gentlemen are not in District 4. They reside in District 3. What is your pleasure?
It doesn't seem like everybody's gonna speak at once, yeah, but, I'll make the comments, same comments I made previously, I think when we had Mr. Wise here the last time and we made the other appointees. I feel like we always are blessed as a county and a board when we have multiple people, apply, multiple qualified people, let me add, to apply for these positions. We haven't always been blessed in those areas, to be able to have choices to pick from. So, despite how this thing goes, hopefully we can find a place for anybody that has interest in participating in local government in some way, shape, or form, moving forward. But I just personally want to thank both of these gentlemen for having the desire to participate in local government, especially on the planning commission. Planning commission is not, I've sit in on one meeting so far, and it's not an easy task. So, and I'll allow any other comments from the other board members.
Mr. Bryant, do we send our commissioners to the certified planning commissioners?
Yes, sir.
I thought you were making a motion.
I haven't made a motion yet.
Okay.
I just didn't know if you guys want to make
You have
any
any thoughts?
comments.
Ms. Tucker?
I second what Mr. Adams said. I think either one of these gentlemen would be a very good choice for the planning commission. I would probably give a slight edge to Mr. Wise because he came here before and went through the interview and has, even though he wasn't selected, decided to come back again. I would give him a slight edge, but that's my reason.
Mr. Campbell?
I think both candidates would make a good commissioner. We just have to see what the board's pleasure is.
I've done quite a bit of work with planning and planning commissioners over the years. I think both candidates would be able to do the job. I think what one needs to understand is that planning commissions were developed to take politics out of planning, right? That's what they were developed for. And we need a commission that's going to not become political, that's going to deal with the issues. And, you know, Mr. Hughes, you're right. We probably do need some industry and we do need restaurants. But unfortunately, well, I disagree with you. The industry is not going to draw the people, or the restaurants are not going to draw the people. The way the process works is people draw the industry and the restaurants, because places like that are looking for workforce and they're looking for, you know, people with income to spend. And they're going to look at our education system. So can we develop that workforce? So it's a very holistic thing that you need to look at when you're developing the county. So whichever one of you becomes appointed, I hope that you will work with your fellow commissioners. I think we're moving forward with a comprehensive plan, which is going to be the guide for the next 20 years of what we want this county to be. So you're going to have a lot of input in how the county's going to grow or not grow in the next decades, when probably some of us are long gone. So,
Speak for yourself.
well, I'm gonna be quiet. So, board, is there a motion?
Mr. Jan, I'm not trying to deflect from making a motion since I'm a liaison on the planning commission. My only reservation for making a motion is I've already got, I think, a minimum of 2 people that's sitting on the current planning commission that's in District 3. So I'd rather remain neutral on a motion, and that could be perceived either way. But that's just my only comments associated with that.
So how many are on the commission right now? This would,
This will be 7.
So you have 5 sitting commissioners? That's correct. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
you've got 5, so we need to replace 2. You bring another one. What district is there? Oh, that's me. Okay. So are you inferring we should possibly put this back out for a while?
No, I'm not for,
I don't think we need to put this back out for a while. I think we may need to make a decision, and then, again, as Mr. Creasy just brought up that I hadn't thought about, we could very well end up in the same situation again if we advertise for District 1 and nobody applies, then the runner-up today could be placed in that position. But again, if we're put in that position, then we're gonna have 4 people assigned from District 3.
You know, odd thing is, that's the reason we changed the makeup on the planning commission, because everyone on the planning commission started out was in District 3. And here we are back again, only District 3 candidates.
What can I say? All my people wanna participate.
his people
You
want to
know?
participate.
Hey,
That, he wants to sack the deck, but whatever.
call it what you want, Ms. Tucker. Call it what you want. I'm remaining neutral.
Okay.
Still waiting for a motion.
I'm waiting for one too. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I'm gonna make a motion that we appoint Mr. Wise to the planning commission.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Ms. Tucker to appoint Mr. Wise. Is there any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Congratulations, Mr. Hughes. We will be in touch.
Wait a minute.
What? I said, Mr. Wise, congratulations. Mr. Hughes will be in touch and find you somewhere to serve. Correct?
Wait a minute, I didn't have my agenda in front, my name.
You did mean to appoint Mr. Wise, correct?
The man who was here that we did not.
That gentleman
Yeah,
right
Mr.
there.
Wise.
Okay, thank you.
Right there, okay. And we're going to find somewhere for Mr. Hughes to serve?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on, County Attorney, Mr. Popovich, tell us about the proposed towing advisory board.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, at your meeting back in on March 17th, you had requested some additional information related to the creation of a towing board. Rather than inundate the Board of Supervisors with multiple versions of policies, ordinances, and the like, I went ahead and took it upon myself to kind of consolidate what I thought to be some very good provisions that are provided for in other localities that have towing boards. It's obviously a work in progress. Nothing that I'm presenting here to you today is to be set in stone. It can be revised, amended, and quite frankly, even if we adopt an ordinance to create the towing board, moving forward, we can always amend it to address any particular flaws or come up with some additional safeguards that we find to be necessary or useful. So what I've provided in your agenda packet is a proposed ordinance, a proposed policy for the sheriff's office, and proposed bylaws for a towing board. What I would say is, in looking throughout the different localities that have towing boards, it is abundantly clear to me, and I think we talked about this previously, or the board did, that the reality is Amherst County is made up of different areas, different sectors, some that are very much populated and others that are sparsely populated. And I think that holds true for a lot of other localities. And what they have done is they have created different zones throughout their counties. And based on requests for bids from towing companies, they will designate which zones those folks would be primarily responsible for. And that's usually based on their location within the county, or maybe in a neighboring locality. But obviously what I've tried to do is create documents that, if the board chooses to go ahead and approve an ordinance to create the towing board, we can get people seated on the towing board and have documents in front of them that they can hit the ground running without having to kind of recreate the wheel. And hopefully it would speed up the process and move things along in a more expeditious fashion. But obviously, I leave it up to the board to decide how you want to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Popovich. I took a few notes on your proposal. I understand it's not set in stone, but there was a $25 fee for the sheriff to inspect the vehicle. I mean, don't they have to get a state inspection like everybody else?
They do.
Then a $100 application fee to be on the list, and then who sets the zones? Is that set by the towing board?
Towing board.
Okay. And then how would this work when the state police calls for the tow? I mean, it's completely different, right? So, I mean, and then I just saw a bunch of it was confused. So I understand this was asked for by the sheriff, but I also understand it was because one company charged a very exorbitant fee one time, right?
Understood.
So are we really gonna run out and do all this because there was one, I mean, it hasn't been consistently been a problem, right?
Not that I'm aware of. This was just brought to my attention by the sheriffs.
So that's my thoughts. I'm not really sure we need this. I know it was a very heated, a lot of heated thoughts last time on it. I know it got heated in an adjacent locality, but I'm open to thoughts.
One thing I would add, Mr. Chairman, is several years ago now, there's a gentleman who is no longer in the towing business and has what I consider valid complaints about favoritism on the list. And I think anytime money's involved and it's going to be favoritism, that's possible. So, I don't know that this is one isolated incident, but I think anything we can do to level the playing field is a good thing. And maybe that doesn't need to be a towing board, I don't know. But I think that it does need to be fair for those people who participate.
Well, the way I understand, there's a list, and if you're the next on the list, you're called, and if you don't respond, they go to the next person on the list. So I'm not sure there's any favoritism or nepotism or whatever involved in it. If you're called and you show up, and you're the next on, it's a rotation. It's how it works. But my understanding is that one person, one towing company charged a very large fee for a tow, and the owner of the vehicle complained. Is that what happened? Right. So, Ms. Campbell, you have any thoughts?
I don't.
Mr. Adams?
The only thing I'll say is some of the stuff I discussed the first time when Sheriff brought this to me, and I understand because he and I have had this discussion many, many times over the years. But this is not a simple process to go through, and I think what concerns me the most is, number one, I've never, and you can perceive this way, is shotgun pattern discipline, no matter what you deal with, because then you're not really dealing with the problem. The other thing is anytime we go in and we put more government into free enterprise, I'm not an advocate of that. I own my own business, and I don't want the government telling me to do any more than I have to do, because trust me, I have a plenty to abide by with my business. So I think it's a lot of slippery slopes when we deal with this. With that being said, I don't want other towing companies getting the raw end of a deal because of processes. And I know there's some discrepancies out there. So this is not, it is so many layers to this onion that has to be peeled back, and it's not going to be a simple process. And I'm not saying that we don't need something, but when we get into setting fees, I mean, because correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody wants to come and do tow business in Amherst County, they have to have a business license for Amherst County, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we've already got a fee structure set up for that. The other thing is if we start setting fees for our deputies, and this is nothing against our deputies, but, then we get into some of the stuff that you had read, which I read as well. what is the process and what's the time of us investing in deputies to be able to get them qualified to inspect a wrecker, right? So again, I'm not gonna belabor this, but I'm not ready to make a decision on this today. And I'm not one to kick a can, but, I think we gotta hit the pause button on this for the moment. That's my opinion.
I agree, Mr. Adams.
I agree. I mean, I've been involved with emergency services towing for, anyway, you've been a
Yeah,
long time.
absolutely.
And this is the first issue I really ever heard about somebody getting charged. Because this is just when the county requests the tow, right?
Well,
If I go out there and, you know, my truck doesn't start and call for a tow company, they're gonna charge me whatever they want to. And this has nothing to do with it. So why, yeah.
but I think some of the stuff that the sheriff was concerned with, and I have heard these complaints from some of the tow companies, if the deputies go down take the accident situation out of the scene, out of the picture, right? But let's just say it's a disabled vehicle on the side of 29, it's been stickered and tagged, and it's been sitting there for whatever the allowable time by code before it's removed against the owner's will. Well, those tow companies come out and tow those things, and they may never get paid for that.
Oh, I understand that
Right.
completely.
So I understand some of his concerns, and also in fairness to the tow companies, I want, everything's not fair in life. Everybody doesn't get a trophy, obviously, or shouldn't. But I don't know what the right answer for this is. So,
But to your point, this isn't gonna ensure the tow company gets paid anyway.
no, and you're right. You're right. Just with accident situations, they have better mechanism because of insurance,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But anyway, that's
Yeah,
it for my comments.
It need to be a lot more study and thought put into it before I could ever consider it.
Mr. Popovich, how many localities are you familiar with that have these things in place?
I personally found at least, I want to say around 15. And that was just not even really looking that hard.
And that's just within the Commonwealth, this Commonwealth?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. I mean, you know, small towns like Blacksburg have it. Big localities like Fairfax have it.
Sure.
So it runs the gamut.
Okay.
All right, board, do we want to ask Mr. Popovich to continue working on this and bring it back for a public hearing, or what do you want to do?
Me personally, I don't know if we need to get Mr. Popovich, I mean, right much work's been done already, and I know we're not really reinventing the wheels per se, but me personally, I'd like a little bit more time to absorb and digest this thing and maybe do some more homework and ask some additional questions, before we even think about putting it to a public hearing.
Can we table it to a
Yeah, I
further
was gonna say,
time?
can we lay it on the
Yeah.
table?
Do
We
need
can
to
lay
make-
it on the table. If we lay it on the table, somebody's gonna have to vote to bring it off the table. And somebody's gonna have to remember to do that, or we can go ahead and ask for it to be put back on the agenda at a later date, preferably after the budget.
And that's just in the form of a directive, correct, not a motion?
Correct. Just
Okay.
bring it back for further discussion, not advertise it for any public hearings. Just maybe get some more information, maybe ask Sheriff Harris to be back, that kind of thing. So,
Well, with your thought process, and my suggestion would be is that we table it and bring it back at maybe the second board meeting in June.
I'd even say July.
And
I'd
the first
say
meeting in
July,
July is
too.
fine with me.
No, we're not here. Don't we usually take that one off?
The second board meeting?
Oh, the first board
take
meeting.
the first
First
one
board
off,
meeting's the
not the
4th of July.
second one. So the second meeting in July?
Second meeting in July?
Right.
Okay.
Is that agreeable to everyone?
Sure, it's fine with me.
We can do that by consensus, Mr. Popovich?
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right, moving forward to the liaison and committee reports. Planning Commission, Mr. Adams.
Nothing really significant to report. I think one of the biggest things that the planning commission discussed at our last meeting, and correct me, Mr. Creasy's here, thank you for, I'll ask him to come up too, but the biggest thing that I recall was us discussing building heights in the industrial zoned areas, correct?
That's correct. We took a little bit of direction from the commission, as well as sat down with our building official, as well as Director Beam and Jared Scott, and have come up with an ordinance to increase height restrictions, but also put regulations in there for those buildings to meet fire and building code.
That's all I have from the planning commission.
Well, thank you, Mr. Adams. All right, we are back at citizen comment. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? Is there anyone who'd like to address the board? All right, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to matters from member of the Board of Supervisors, Ms. Tucker.
I do have one thing, and it's going to be a little bit unusual. A member of our community passed away Sunday. His name is Gary Ramsey. And many of us knew him. Many of us had cabinets built in our house by him. We knew his kids, knew his wife, knew his family. He was really a small businessman and an active member of this community. And so I want to pay our respects, and I would ask that we adjourn today in honor of Mr. Gary Ramsey.
I agree. My youngest son just married into that family, married his granddaughter, so very sad. So thank you. Mr. Campbell?
Mr. Chairman, I do have something. I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss it right now. I do want to think on it some more, but I will definitely be bringing it back.
Okay. Mr. Adams?
I have nothing.
All right, and I have nothing. Is there a motion to adjourn in the honor of Mr. Ramsey?
Yes, sir, so moved.
So moved.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. We stand adjourned.
For that, it's coming. I need to talk to him.